A my teraz przejdziemy sobie i może zrobimy jakąś jeszcze jedną misję. Jeszcze mam chwilkę czasu, więc możemy zobaczyć, co ja tutaj mam. Fontaine. Nie, żeby mnie to specjalnie cieszyło, bo ja nie przepadam za misjami Fontaine, ale no dobra. Przede wszystkim strasznie dziwnie jest mi mówić samemu tak do siebie. Jestem przyzwyczajony, że zawsze tutaj ktoś ze mną jest i jak gram, to jakby mam kontakt z innymi ludźmi i śmiejemy się tutaj razem. Razem tutaj gdzieś gadamy i tak dalej. Wzywamy killera najczęściej w DBD. A dzisiaj tak nie mam nikogo na czacie głosowym i po prostu jestem tak... Dzień dobry! Go to the accommodations Navia Arranged. Gdzie to jest? Ja bym sobie jeszcze zmienił... Muszę sobie to zamienić. Te guziki, bo ja je klikam na zmianę, bo w innych grach tak jest. Tu by wróciła taksówka, bo będzie wygodniej nią. Tam, dobra. No to lecimy. Pewnie na górę. Wątpię, że to gdzieś tam na dole będzie. A może? No i też na B. Jestem przyzwyczajony, że B się... Ej, to chyba będzie na dole. Ale jazda. Okej. Dobra, nieważne. Znaleziony. Dobry. Dzień dobry.
So, this is your base? It's not quite what Paimon imagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances,
Wiecie co, ja
I
sobie
can
na sekundkę
confidently
tutaj
say
zniknę.
it's the best we have.
Wy i tak tutaj widzicie teraz grę i słyszycie mnie dalej, ale muszę sobie tutaj dostęp do świeżego powietrza stworzyć, bo jest mi tutaj gorąco, jednak konsola generuje trochę ciepła, a ja jestem w malutkim, zamkniętym pokoiczku i trochę mi się tutaj już zaciepło.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago.
Hello!
I'm afraid I'm not quite his equal.
Your father. He was the previous boss of Spina di Rosula, right? How did he...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to explain.
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but rumor has it that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender, determined to die in the arena. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself. The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of that case.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, they must know something. I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do, anything at all.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of you, Demoiselle. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus the Unfaithful. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he was accused?
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf. But they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
How could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't deserve to have that happen to him.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel was Miss Clorand.
Oh! Her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him? Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go and move on from.
Szybciej!
Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she will not stop either. She knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute in the arena, there was only ever one choice she could have made.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't deal with this yet.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel. You don't have to force yourself to do that.
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle Navia's safety. Yes, that is our understanding as well.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right, anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like I was just thanks.
Yeah, Paimon's feet.
Please, relax and get some sleep.
Dobra, już pominąłem, bo już nie mogę. Po prostu jak słyszę Paimon, to dostaję nerwicy. Rest in your room. Hire tutaj. Hire? Peaceful night. Coś tam dalej nie przeczytałem.
Paimon slept so well. This place feels almost too safe. Huh? Navia? Where did the other two go?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's near
Siedziała,
Rosula's
piła
place of
całą
origin,
noc.
and where we have
Butelka
our
obok
headquarters.
stoi, z tyłu też
There's
butla.
not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you waiting here the whole time?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vache.
Wait, So you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now.
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match anywhere. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine that they would find almost impossible to threaten. No, and that is the archives kept by Chief Justice
O
Noel.
Jezu, jakieś archiwa, już dostaję nerwicy, bo pewnie trzeba się będzie kitrać i na kuckach łazić.
Ocean that you met is one of the young
Neverlet maintains an archive of case files? Whew. In that case, let's go talk to him, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
Aren't you...
Go, go, go. Lecimy, lecimy. Quest completed? Przecież ja nic nie zrobiłem. Ja? Oczywiście. O, ziomek jest tutaj.
The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
No idę, idę, kochana. A ty jesteś tu ze mną? Nie. To co mnie stalkujesz? Jakieś takie mówisz mi? Może ja bym się jeszcze, wiecie co? Tak na wszelki wielki. Jakby coś miało mnie zeżreć. Ja bym sobie tak uleczył te postaci jeszcze od niczego. Dobra, idziemy. Ja w ogóle chyba się troszkę obniżę tutaj. O, no i teraz jesteśmy na poziomie tym samym, a nie wy jesteście kilometr nade mną. W ogóle Traveler wygląda, jakby tak z przodu jest pokazany, wygląda mega podobnie do Navi, w sensie jakby styl tego ubioru.
This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nervalet's files are really secure.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh?
Najwyraźniej nie.
Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some...
Jaki niemiły!
No, what I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the
Jaki
trial of the great
burak!
magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a father.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Ah, thanks so much.
Tutaj mamy iść. O Boże, zapukać muszę.
Please come in.
Hello, szef.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any other way.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case.
Sorry, że
Find
tak
him.
tutaj się
We may be
przybliżałem,
able
musiałem
to unearth
napisać
some key information on the
SMS.
case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files.
Dawaj, szukaj tych plików. Jezu, jakie to jest wszystko powolne. Ja naprawdę mam ADHD. Ja bym to zrobił już 52 razy, już bym znalazł te pliki, już bym te archiwa przeszukał i już bym wszystko. Dostaję nerwicy, bo ja klikam. Ja klikam, żeby to pominąć.
Unfortunately, I'm quite
Oh,
certain that
poszło.
no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or civil. There are no records of him either in the
Traveler? What if it was really just a
Bidusia to
dream?
ja, jak coś, w sensie mój traveler.
Is that so?
A Wanderera nie mam,
Thank you so
bo
much.
nazwałbym go też jakoś imieniem jakiegoś kota, ale
Miss
Nie mam
Nadia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you felt like you should. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die? Despised and hated by all.
Jezu, jaki dramat się tu
Was hanging
rozgrywa.
on a thread at that moment. There are still so
Kochani,
many
przecież
things
to
I
jest
never got
ten.
to tell him.
Jak to się nazywa?
So many questions he still owes me answers to. If
Tu takie
you
kółeczko z
really
analizą mi się
have
powinno
no
pojawić. Moda na
then
sukces,
just
chciałem
look me
powiedzieć.
in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Nie Traveler, tylko Bidusia. Napisali ci. Wredna małpo.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Każda 14-latka.
Rain.
20 i
It's raining.
30 też.
You're right.
Ja
Wasn't
też.
it so sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also rain.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Bidusia! Co jest z tym takiego
Yeah, he was
ciężkiego?
outside.
Trudnego.
It was uncovered and the rain
Ciężka to
could
może być
fall.
moja torba.
Wow.
Plecak. Ja noszę
Do you
plecak.
think the rain could have affected the crime? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're
Yes,
saying
yes, I
that the
mean,
true
go,
murderer
go,
could
go.
have been turned into water?
Why so
And then
slow?
got washed away with the rain? Yeah. And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw to the authorities.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. How did I not connect the dots earlier? All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Poison. Ja bym powiedział poison, ale
We're gonna
okej.
make progress for sure this time.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later?
O Boże. No
Great.
dobra, idźmy
Let's
razem.
go.
Chociaż muszę kończyć ten odcinek, bo muszę się zbierać.
The sun is out. Our work's done for
Tam
the
jest
day.
poison,
Shall
dobra.
we take a stroll?
A ja mogę to zabić? Kuźwa. Zabiłem? A gdzie jest ten teleport? O, dobra. O, i kartka od razu, jak miło. Piękny widoczek, piękny.
Nie.
A, dobra.
What a huge ship!
That's what I said.
Why would a ship be
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's headquarters. My father was the one who asked for it to be built
Spina
like
di
this.
Rosula?
Perhaps our
Co to
gigantic and
jest?
glamorous ship embodies discovery,
Czy jest Spina
opportunity,
di Rosula?
ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes
Junia,
Spina di
weź, co ty w
Rosula's
ogóle...
bright and
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history, but now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself?
well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula.
Ja już ją pominę. Dobra, idziemy pogadać z Melusem na statku. A tak. Dobra. I potem... Mam nadzieję, że już będziemy mogli kończyć, bo rzeczywiście muszę się zbierać. A Genshin mi tego nie ułatwia, bo chciałbym to skończyć, a jednocześnie... Co to jest? To wygląda, jakby trzeba było w to czymś uderzyć, wiecie? O nie! Oj, nie chce mi się już wyciągać żadnego łuku, wiecie? Chociaż nie da mi to spokoju trochę. A, to będziemy mieli co na następnym odcinku robić. Wrócimy tu. Ej, jest dźwięk metalu, jak się po tym chodzi, fajnie. Dobra, tutaj jest Melus. Hello, Mr. Melus.
Melus, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You still remember, right, Melus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's.
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or
Ja to
control
teraz
your
wypiję.
emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia. And as he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete...
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's
Prohibicję chciał
wrath.
wprowadzić.
No
Dobrze,
matter how much
rozumiem.
they threatened or bribed him,
Otworzyłem to okno i
he
teraz mi stopy
refused to
marzną.
yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard.
Huh? How did that happen? Aren't they on the same side?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out.
Jacques was an
I'm the
empathetic
right
man
track,
who
baby.
was
I was
infinitely
born to
remorseful for
survive.
his past actions. I think this third person is probably the key to the full. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning. Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and we have been allowed to live out our lives. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and give up on the case.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, what was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death? And live out my life just as I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Davia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable.
So you do know something else, Malus.
Yes, I do. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target.
What?
Czyli chcą się pozbyć Navi? W sensie
And the
chcieli się
serial
pozbyć
visit for 5
Navi?
years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Czekajcie sekundkę, ja
So
sobie tylko
nobody
zamknę
would be
to
able to
okno,
get
bo
off scot-free.
za zimno.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time,
So he
Dobra.
chose to die?
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved, I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where Synth is produced. When he was threatening the
Okej, dobra,
Enigmat,
czyli
if you
on
want to
podał
use
mu
it against the enemy,
lokalizację jakby gdzie ten cały alkohol, powiedzmy, jest produkowany. I to jest najważniejszy dowód.
Can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and there's no telling
A,
what
czyli
might be lying
walczymy
in
z
wait at their
mafią,
headquarters.
dobra.
We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside, but a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed. But also...
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontana?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case.
That's true. Seems my fault, but things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Maloose.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and demoiselles. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake.
Thank you for all of that, Maloose. Have you discovered anything new in the...
Let me think. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendor. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the after several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list. The first is
Trzy
Florent,
osoby podejrzane.
Skinner
Florent.
senior advisor.
Huh?
Yes, surprising
Dobra,
thanks
dobra,
to
kto
his
kolejny?
position. There's someone else like him too.
Marcel.
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
Wujek.
It's a guild in Poisson. In the beginning, there were
I
only...
kto ostatni?
They're like a sister.
Yes, you can say that. It's a bit...
No dawaj, dawaj, kto
Final
ostatni?
suspect is Thierry. The man
Thierry.
responsible for coordinating information
Aha,
between...
strażnik.
Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities. Since Thierry is always in the know about
Hello,
our current
koteczek.
activities,
A, czekaj, to jest
he
kamerka.
could
Hello,
theoretically
koteczek.
always plan one step ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite right. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been...
Dobra,
If
mamy
you want to
trzech
investigate
podejrzanych.
them, please take every
Po
precaution
co
to
jeszcze
avert the
tyle
conflict.
gadania? Ludzie,
Judging
idźmy
from
ich.
our experience, the enemy...
Of course.
No wiadomo co.
You're too kind, my lady.
Halo.
I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the if it might
Dawaj,
help you, but
dawaj,
also...
no ile można? Jezu, moje
No
adusale
case
nie
waits, my
wytrzymuje.
dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case once and for all.
Jest. O Boże. A to wszystko, co nam powiedzieli, to nie musimy tego czytać. Kto by się na tym skupiał? Visit Jacques Family. 54 metry, dobra. Jacques? Jacques?
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy your conversation at your leisure.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Maloose.
Jest, Melus, go, go, go.
Excuse me, miss.
A ja mogę to...
Do you need anything from us?
Jest.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened,
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize.
but aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques?
Zio.
I can understand that
You don't understand at all.
O Boże, Adel jaka zła, wredna.
because I didn't know what I
Weź.
could possibly bring as a consolation gift.
Zaśpiewaj może
Only
lepiej.
the full...
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry on the matter regarding my husband. My daughter and I have more...
Would you mind sharing it with me?
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go, and he had many regrets. And so when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately.
Oświadczył mu się.
He tried to be as careful as he could. Even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I don't know that for sure. But you could say that...
Korali. Ale o niej nie było w sumie wspominane w tym, więc po co my z nią gadamy?
Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible
Aha,
for me
to jest
to hate him
ten
for
od
what
tego
he had
drugiego.
done.
O, dobra.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy? Papa always wanted to be a good man. So why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem.
Yeah, Papa was a really good man.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword, he must...
Oh,
Thank you for everything you've told me.
Thank you. I'm
Dziękuję,
very
dziękuję.
grateful. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
Ale ona ma zblurowane usta jakieś takie.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Testimony from Jacques' family. Believes that he had struggled greatly with the order to kill Callas. Did Callas act in self-defense, or was there more to the incident? Talk to Florent. Dobra, kochani, już nie będziemy dzisiaj taktować... Taktować? Gadać z Florentem.
I'm fine.
Pogadamy sobie
Don't
z
worry.
nim następnym
Let's
razem. O,
investigate the three suspects
sobie
next.
tutaj staniemy jako kokomi.
Teyvat should be nearby.
Ładne mamy
And we
tło.
should be able to find
Możesz
the
nie
area
mówić w
Marcel
momencie,
and
kiedy
City.
ja mówię. Będę bardzo
I'll get
wdzięczny,
myself together
Nawia.
on the way. So please don't worry.
Dziękuję. Dziękuję, że ze mną byliście. Fajnie to wszystko działa na Xboxie. Bardzo mi się podoba. Jest mega płynnie. Dokończymy sobie tą misję już następnym razem. W kolejnym po prostu odcinku. I tak samo kolejne daily będziemy sobie robić też, myślę, na odcinkach, żeby...
Those are my favorite.
Musisz mówić, tak? Nie możesz mi dać chwili. Dziękuję. I co? I super. Bardzo mi się podobało, bardzo fajnie to działa. Szkoda, że musieliśmy tak długo na to czekać. Dziwi mnie, że dalej nie ma tego na Nintendo. Fajnie, że jest na Xboxa i PlayStation. I co? Dziękuję wam bardzo, że byliście i do następnego.